So we think there's plenty of reason to ask Mrs. Clinton for her testimony directly. And we were in court last December, just a few months ago, and I've told you this before. I get to go to court and I represent Judicial Watch in the corporate capacity. So I'm the client as president of Judicial Watch. So I have to sit there, I got my suit and tie on, I have to remain calm, don't do anything to mess up the case, try not to draw attention to myself. But I tell you, it's hard because I'm in there and I'm with our lawyers. We usually have one or two lawyers. I think in that specific ruling, that specific hearing, we had, I think, 2 attorneys. Our lead attorney on the case was Ramona Kotka, who you may have seen here on our social media as well. And across the way, on the other side, were 6 government lawyers from the Justice Department and State Department. Plus Mrs. Clinton had 2 lawyers, her top aide Cheryl Mills had 2 lawyers. So it's just little old Judicial Watch versus a whole group of attorneys paid for with your tax dollars. Justice Department and State Department of this administration defending Hillary Clinton in court. And in fact, trying to stop us from getting to question her or get any additional questions answered. And the court said no. In fact, the court said their arguments are preposterous. You may have seen news that we did get the Clinton email, we did get her testimony this week, but I doubt you saw news that a federal court judge criticized the Justice Department and the State Department for their cover-up of the Clinton email scandal. And if you want to know why President Trump is frustrated, he sees this. In fact, when I've complained about this on Lou Dobbs' show, he tweeted, and Dobbs highlighted the fact that we were facing opposition from the Justice Department and State Department. I think the president's tweet on that said it was disgraceful. But thankfully, the court wasn't cowed by the Justice Department in this circumstance, and he ruled in our favor. So within 75 days, Hillary Clinton, Cheryl Mills, 2 other witnesses have to come and have to come to judicial, or I don't know where we're going to hold the deposition, but they're going to have to testify under oath in person to Judicial Watch attorneys. So that 75 days, the ruling came out earlier this week. It's May 16th. It has to be done by May 16th. And we get to subpoena Google for potential cache of Clinton emails. I'll tell you about that later as well. Now, we didn't get everything we wanted. The types of questions we can ask Mrs. Clinton. It's not everything you might want to ask. It's not everything I might want to ask. But certainly this deposition testimony will be the most important questioning of Hillary Clinton on this matter ever. Because we know the FBI was running a pro forma compromise investigation. They had 0 interest in prosecuting her, and they were just checking the boxes, granting immunity to everybody. In fact, we just uncovered, as I told you a few weeks ago, that Hillary Clinton, at the end of her FBI interview, said that she apologized to the FBI for having to investigate this issue, said she used the system for her convenience, but it turned out to be anything but for her convenience. So you've got this apology, admission / confession. You know what? But Peter Strzok said in his emails that they didn't put that into her FBI 302 report, which is the official narrative report of the interview. So we don't even know what the FBI asked Hillary Clinton or the full scope of her interview with the FBI. Because the FBI has this, in my view, corrupt process in documenting interviews of witnesses and targets. They don't record the interviews. And what happens is the agents go back and write up a 302 based on their notes and memory. And supposedly it's done contemporaneously. We found in the Flynn case it wasn't. But I'm just saying all this to highlight, well, you can't trust what the FBI did with Mrs. Clinton. And of course, she testified under oath I don't know if she did it under oath before Congress. It doesn't really matter since you can't lie to Congress, whether you're under oath or not. But either way, they had a ridiculous hearing, and Mrs. Clinton and her defenders say it was for 11 hours. You know, if you watch that hearing, you could go on for 24 hours, or you could go on forever and still not get information. Any witness can just power through those hearings without having to answer questions directly or substantively. That's just the nature of congressional hearings. They're just awful ways to get information. So this is going to be very significant in terms of the public's right to know, because we're going to be able to get information that the FBI didn't want to get, Congress was unable to get and kind of didn't want to get, but you can trust Judicial Watch to ask the most direct questions. And kudos to Judge Royce Lamberth, who is tired of the corruption he saw, certainly with the Justice Department and the FBI. But what a great victory for Judicial Watch, because our attorneys and lawyers, you know, we uncovered the Clinton email case. We exposed so much, virtually everything we know about it is because of our work. And we began asking questions about Hillary Clinton in the State Department from before she became Secretary of State in 2009. So this is the culmination of not only that work during the Obama administration, but we have been focused on Clinton corruption since the inception of the organization. On other issues, people say, oh, you're obsessed with the Clintons. No, we don't like government corruption. That's the nature of our mission. And the Clintons were terribly corrupt when they were in the White House, and Mrs. Clinton was involved in a major corruption scandal as Secretary of State, not only with the emails, but the pay-to-play that was never adequately investigated. I make no apologies for wanting a justice and accountability over the major public corruption scandals that Hillary Clinton's been involved in. No apologies. There's a big documentary on Hillary Clinton out this weekend. They didn't ask Judicial Watch what we thought about what information we had about her conduct. I've read virtually every email Hillary Clinton sent and received. You would think the fact that she's in court with us, they would want to talk to us about it. Of course, you know, that's just propaganda, it looks like. So we're telling the truth that the media doesn't want you to know. We're doing a heavy lifting that no one else is willing to do on this issue. And Hillary Clinton is still obviously a public figure. But more importantly here, and I'm going to read his ruling, it's not just Judicial Watch that wants answers and accountability, but a federal court judge.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the latest news from Judicial Watch.